So we're going to build a web application now. I'm putting together all the components that we've worked on through all the videos. I'm going to build a really simple tool rental application where we have a variety of tools that customers can come in and rent. So I'm going to need to create a tools database, a customers database, and when they make a rental, I'm going to need to associate those two. So this should look very, very similar to what you see with your library application. The one thing I'm not going to worry about is pricing at this point. Taking that it's a $10 per day rental times 3 days is $30. So I'm not going to be as concerned about that. It's more about those two databases and associating the two. So I got Visual Web Developer open here. I went ahead and created a new empty website here. Here it is on my desktop. I want to create a CSS folder in here. This is where I am going to put the style sheets and also just some graphics. And these are just some really rough logos that I've found. And I also want to put tool images in this folder. And again, this is just pictures of tools that we have for rent. I've made those changes. Let me look back in Visual Web Developer. Remember, we'll have to refresh to be able to see. And there we go. So one of the very first things I'm going to add, this page, I want to use masterpages with this. So tool.master. Okay, and it's going to build out. And I want to use, I need to set up the default page. I'm going to select a master page. I'm also going to make extensive use of cutting and pasting throughout this. Just so you don't have to sit and watch me type. Alright, so I've gone in here to the default page. Now remember, all of the styling and the formatting and all that kind of stuff I'm going to put on the master page. The master page has a place here. It's going to grab the ID content placeholder 1. And up here in the head, it's also going to grab the ID head. But aside from that, all the divs, all the styling, everything like that will be done in here. The individual page then that's opening is linked to that master page, so it gets all the styling from there. Content placeholder 1. So whatever is in this tag is what will appear in this point of the page. Whatever is in this head portion, so that this title, is what will appear here in the master page. So we have these two things linked. So I want to get into the master page, which I am right now, and I want to add a style sheet. I want to link up the style sheet. Alright, so I've declared that I would like to use a style sheet. Now I need to actually configure the style sheet. I'm going to rename that. And for the body, I'm just going to set a simple element here. So the master page is linked to the style sheet. The style sheet sets the background color, and default is linked to the master page. So let's open this in the browser now and see what we have. Okay, so it looks like our style sheet, master page, all that kind of stuff seems to be working correctly. I'm going to go ahead and set up some other folders that I'm going to need. This page, this site is going to need an admin area, and in the admin area is where we can go in and add new tools. It's going to need a sales area, and in the sales area is where we can go in and add new customers, search tools, view customers, make the rentals, make the returns, all those kinds of things. I'm going to go ahead and just create the pages in there. And I'm going to put it also in the sales page. Okay. So I want to be able to navigate around between these pages easily. So I'm going to go ahead and add a sitemap. I'm going to actually just copy and paste a sitemap. And I'm going to edit this particular one to take out the pages I don't want. Okay, so the sitemap has a location for home, which is this default. It has a location for admin, which is in the admin folder here, and it has a location for sales, which is in the sales folder. I'll save this. And now I need to go ahead and add this sitemap to the master page. I'm going to give it an ID of nav. And inside here, I'm going to add a menu control. New data source. Okay. Save this up. Let's view it in the browser. Okay, I have a problem. If I go back to sitemap, I can see that I have this root node is blank, and then these three are peers underneath that root, but it's trying, the root is trying to display, but there's nothing in there, so I need to actually make a modification inside of the menu control. So here I still have the menu control, all right? But now I'm doing a few things. Dynamic, horizontal offset, that's okay. A couple of important things here. Horizontal. So I'm saying let's show this in a horizontal format instead of a vertical format. Rendering mode table. If I set it to rendering mode table, then I can go through and use CSS to determine how this menu is going to display. And so that'll be important. So these will all become CSS classes. So I can go in and write those. So this is all within that menu control. Now I also have to make a quick modification here to the sitemap control. Show starting node false. So that starting node in sitemap, right here, this one that's empty, we're going to say don't show that. Start showing here with these three that are peers. So let's save all this up. I need to go ahead and add in some of the CSS to make this look a little better. So I'm going to add in a nav ID. And in the nav ID, I'm going to set the background color to gray. I'm also going to add in the details on all of those CSS classes that I just created, or that I just specified. So this is going to be all about how we format that menu control. And you'll see static menu, dynamic cover style, all right, all of those things link back to the static menu, dynamic cover style. Going to save everything up, and let's look at it in the browser now. See what we have. Okay. So now I'm getting something that's starting to look more like a menu. The next thing I'll need to do is go ahead and set up the different divs and those kinds of things to give this page, to make this page take shape and actually look like a web page that I want it to look like. So when I think about how I want this page to lay out, this is kind of what I come up with. So I want to have a couple of logos here at the top with the information in the middle. I want to have a login button so that our users can just get right into the login. We'll have the navigation menu. We'll display the date. Then we'll have the dynamic content right in here, so the stuff that's going to change on every page. And then finally, I want a footer down here at the bottom. So when I look at this and I lay it all out, here's kind of what my divs will look like, I think. I'll have a wrap that includes everything. I'll have a header div that includes a logo, title, and logo div. Right underneath that, I'll have a menu bar div that includes a login box, nav, and date div. Then I'll have the main div, and this is where the dynamic content is going to be. And then finally, I'll have a footer div. So if I put all this together, here's what it will look like. Here's my wrap div, my header div, logo, title, logo. After I do these are going to be floating left, and I'm doing some stuff in CSS. I need a BR clear all. I'll close up the header div. Right underneath there, I'll do the menu bar. In the menu bar, I'll have the login box, the nav, and the date. And notice the date, I'm using a label here, an ASP label control. So I'll need to do some code behind to be able to populate that. After I have these three going across using some floats, I'll need to BR clear all again here. And then finally close up the menu bar. Here's the main div where all the dynamic content is going to go. And then finally the footer control, and I'm using another ASP label, or the footer div, and I'm using another ASP label control here that I'll need to get from the code behind. So when I have all of this laid out, I can look at it in the browser, and it should look something very similar to this. Now notice that the logos are broken the photos are broken on the home page, but they work as I get back into these sub pages. That has to do with the location, how we specify it in here. So if I were to do, remember dot dot means go up a level. So here I'm at the root and I'm saying go up a level. Well, I can't go up a level. If I just do dot, I'm saying from this location, go into the CSS folder, into the graphics folder, and get the logos. So if I save those and look at it in the browser, the logos come back. However, when I go into the sub pages, all right, so now I'm here in admin, I'm on this default page. What we're saying here is from this location go into the CSS folder, the graphics folder. Well, from this location is within the admin folder, so there's not a CSS folder to be able to go into. So here I would need the dot dot. If I look at this in the browser, it works now when I'm in these foldered pages, but when I go back home, it's broken again. So the theory has it we can use the tilde, which ASP interprets to mean from anywhere, or basically from the root. No matter where you're at, go from the root. But I have not had any success getting this to work. So it doesn't work there, but it will work. It also doesn't work in the subpages. So it's just kind of broken in general. So what we need to do is specify the actual absolute path to it. And our absolute path will be http instruct.biz.ui.edu courses 6K183. So if I put in the absolute path here, this should work after it's all uploaded. So let me upload this. In order to get it to work on Instruct, I have to get rid of this compilation. So I'll save that. Actually, I'll save it all. And I've already created my folder on Instruct. I've set it to an application folder, whatnot. So let me get all of this, and we will just upload. Okay, so let's see how it looks on Instruct now. I've got some other issues going on, but the folder issue is corrected. So I need to go back and see if I can figure out what's going on up here and also down here. So after I spent some time troubleshooting my divs and my CSS, I've got it looking basically the way I want it to in both browsers, in Firefox and in Internet Explorer. The menus are working, things are moving around well, the images are staying because I went to the absolute paths for the images. Okay, so here I'm actually telling it the entire HTTP path. So now the next thing I want to do is I want to get set up for the login. So I'm going to add a new folder here called login, and in there I'm going to create a new web page. Call it login. Choose tool.master, it's fine. And right here I'm going to add a login control. Okay, and I'll save that. Now the one thing that I would like to happen is on the master page, I would like to see right up here where I've got just this placeholder text, I'd like to have a login button there. Then I could just quickly click and be able to log in, and then quickly click and be able to log out. So I will go to Tool Master and get into the source here. This test is what I want to replace. I'm going to put a login status there. Okay. And login status is going to get all of its formatting from the login box div. So it will be here. So it'll be Comic Sans, 5 pics, there's the color, the background color, etc. So as an ASP control, it doesn't have specific formatting commands like the menu control does here. It's just inheriting everything from the login box div. Alright, so now that I've got that in place, let me save everything up, and I want to send it up to the website, up to my website. Alright, and let me check it now. Okay, home, admin, sales. Alright, and I have this login. Alright, I've still got an error there. I need to take care of how we're logging in. And I want to just look at the login page real quick. Okay, login page looks good. One thing that kind of makes me crazy is the cursor. I have to click in here before I can start typing. I'd like that to happen automatically. So I'm going to get into the login page. I actually need to get into the code behind on the login page. I'm going to set a page load event. And this page load event, I'm going to tell it the control. So login 1. The login 1 control, I want to give it focus. Okay, I'll save that. Okay, so now when I click login, I've got a problem there, but when I browse to it, I would have expected the cursor to be in there, so I'll continue to watch that. I think I named it correctly and everything, but we'll see how it works when we can actually click the login button and go there. So now the next thing I need to do is to get set up for role-based security. All right, and you've already done this in some of the Microsoft videos.